Hi, I'm Robert Haase. On October 3rd of 2015, Dr. Stephen Bales at Virginia Mason Hospital in Seattle, Washington, removed half of my tongue, the left half, with a procedure called a hemiglossectomy. And I'm happy to report that 5 years and 2 days later, I am still dancing with Ned, they say, no evidence of disease, and I'm still cancer-free. And so I just want to report that, get you all up to speed as to what's happening with my process. If you followed my story, you'll know that I was first diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma or tongue cancer in 2008. Dr. Carl Myers, I remember the morning he called me on September 29th, and he said, Bob, I've got hard news. He said, you've been diagnosed with cancer. It is indeed cancer you've got. And my heart sunk at that moment. I was thinking, like, wow, do I even have a future? And if you had told me, 10 years later, I'd be still here doing what I'm doing, I'm not sure I would have believed you. I was very scared and frightened at that point. When I finished my chemotherapy and radiation therapies, it left me something I would call bonus time. That those therapies are horrendous, but yet they give you extra opportunity of life. And, I've been able to have the chance to spend time and bless people and encourage them, and people who are going through their own adversities, not just cancer, but, talk to people who've lost their jobs, lost their marriages, lost their, their business or their home, or, even worse, lost a child. And, all adversity boils down to one common word, and that's loss. I lost half my tongue. I lost a lot of stuff, but the whole idea of adversity is that loss piece. And, as you already know, I lost my business, my house, my car. My wife left our marriage. And I got cancer all in a very short period of time. And it sounds horrible, but yet at the same time it's easy to focus on what we don't have and not focus on what we do have. And that one of the things it did steal from me was my invincibility. We think we're all immortal. We're not going to die. We don't think about death. We don't want to think about death. And but being faced with that, I realized, wow, I might die someday. And that sounds silly, but that was a huge thing for me, to realize I'm mortal and there's a possibility that could happen. So, but being able to care for family and friends and still be here, it's a huge blessing. So those extra years I've had so far, these last 5 have been awesome. There's an expression that I've heard, and you've probably heard before, that it's not so much life is a journey, but it's not a destination. So life is not about getting somewhere or the goals we have to get somewhere. It's about that process along the way. In 2015, I had lost my teaching assistant, Sherry Leisherness. She'd been teaching with me for 9 years total, I think, at that point. And an amazing woman and a good friend. And she was taken from me. She and her husband were involved in a sporting incident where she was killed tragically, and a huge loss that year. But at the same time that year, I met the woman I'm married to now. I met Taryn, and she was a huge blessing to me. So life throws you all kinds of things, and our focus has a huge piece of how we're going to succeed in that. It's easy to let the loss and hardship we have, it's easy to focus on that and have it just kind of entrap our entire attention and focus on what we don't have. We're focusing so much on what we've lost and what we don't have, but we forget what we do have. So maybe a parent lost a child and they're forgetting the fact they've got 2 others that they're not spending time with because they're so focused on what they don't have anymore. So I would just encourage you to focus on what you do have, focus on the blessings in life and blessings that come your way along that process. Now I have a wife who loves me dearly. I've got 3 daughters who I just love incredibly. I'm very proud of them. I have parents in the mid-80s who are thriving and doing well. I'm back to teaching seminars that I love nationally. I even got to go to Europe this last year and drive the Autobahn and the cruise control 128 miles per hour for quite a while. And that was just like a dream of mine. And I had no idea the amazing things were going to come after having chemotherapy and radiation and thinking I was going to be gone. So the blessings are there. The rest of this video is for people who've had a hemiglossectomy or are about to have one, or maybe friends and family who are doing research and trying to support somebody who's gone through one or is about to go through one. So I'm going to give you some information, specifics, things that I've been through the last 5 years. Maybe give you some things you might not expect, things I wasn't told that might happen. So I'll go through those. But before I talk about the negatives, again, regardless of the negative side effects and all the stuff that's bad, the number one thing is I'm alive. And so I'm alive to even complain. And people think, well, I have all these problems. But yeah, but you're alive. So the downside of treatment is you live. And that's the whole point of the treatment, is to extend that life opportunity. So side effects wise, there are numerous ones that I've had, actually probably nearly almost 24. But the bigger ones that are having an effect, the first one was called Lermite's sign. And when I would go for a walk or something, even during treatment, I put my chin to my chest, and it'd be this sudden surge, a painful surge in my lower body. Would go almost numb and tingly and just become weak all at once. And that's something that came specifically because I had a chemotherapy called cisplatin with cervical radiation. And that combination on some people does cause Lermite's sign. And so be aware of that. It's not going to kill me. It's just not fun, especially if I'm active or something. I put my chin down, that might happen to me. My tissues were weakened. Chemotherapy weakens your tissues for years and years to come. And I was installing an air conditioner this last summer. I was 125-pound air conditioner. Wasn't asking for help like I should have. Had a heavy-duty mount I bought from a local home store. And I was installing it, and the mount broke. And I tried to catch the air conditioner with one hand, and it tore 3 muscles darn near off my shoulder, and had to have surgery for that. Matter of fact, one of my last videos, you can probably see my brace. I didn't say much about it at the time. But so your tissues are weakened permanently, and that had a big effect on me. I have something called intermittent paresthesias. And the left side of my face, if I turn my head to the left for very long at all, the entire side of my face and neck tingles. It's kind of painful tingling. It becomes numb, and it hurts. So I don't want to turn left very much. So I still do, and we'll talk about that in a second. But one of the biggest things lately that's happened, probably in the last 6 months, is a condition called cervical dystonia, or spasmodic torticollis. And so you might see people once in a while who actually have the muscles tighten and their heads at an angle. Mine wants to do that, but I fight it. And so my muscles are constantly in battle. The antagonists are fighting back and forth to keep my neck straight. But they spasm constantly. You'll see my muscles just pop up really hard. In the back, I've tried 3 rounds of having Botox done in my neck. And it's a crazy expensive process. And it weakens the muscle and doesn't allow it to function as well. So for me, that makes me nervous. I don't want to have weak muscles in my neck. If I trip off a curb or something, I can't support myself. So anyway, that's what the weird part is I know you can't have this, but it feels like I have Parkinson's in my neck sometimes, because I'll get these kind of bobbing motions where it's a rhythmic tremor, and I can't help it. So I put my finger in there and I'll beat the muscle up, and but that rhythmic piece is very odd. But again, side effect of all the treatment. I have nerves that go through scar tissue, and so all that movement is affecting the neck as well. Anyway, there's more problems, but you get the idea. So you're going to have side effects from that. But again, I'm alive. I get to make this video, I get to talk to you and encourage people. So it's good. But people ask me, they say, how are you doing? I smirk. It's like, should I complain? Well, no. It's not worth it, because I'd rather talk about the positive things that are going on in my life. For those who've had radiation as part of your treatment, if you've had a hemiglossectomy, you've had radiation, I have some extra ideas for you, things I think are important, I've learned. I've met people who've had this, have not had good oral care, and have lost their teeth, or the teeth are rotting or falling apart. So I was blessed. I had someone early on, a friend, who's a dental hygienist, and she was able to get me something called a fluoride varnish. And I was able to put that on my teeth on a fairly regular basis. It's something that a dentist would do with you twice a year as you're cleaning, perhaps. But what that fluoride varnish does is it allows you to actually it kind of slows the demineralization of your teeth. It helps to strengthen those, and also helps to avoid decay of the teeth as well. So, fluoride is a poison, but at the same time, is used properly, can actually help you quite a bit. I have my teeth cleaned 4 times a year, and that's twice as often as recommended. But when you have lack of saliva, and I have no saliva function in my mouth at all, it actually is bad for your teeth and bad for your mouth hygiene. So I have them cleaned 4 times a year, making sure they're taken care of properly. After every time I eat any food at all, I use a water pick. or other type of products like that. I have 3 of them actually, one for travel and one in the kitchen and one in my bathroom. I've got them everywhere. I use a water pick to clean the mouth out. I use a flosser stick. I'm flossing 3-4 times a day to keep that stuff out of my teeth so it can't form cavities. And plus, when you don't have much tongue function, you can't clean food out of your teeth anyway, so it's worthwhile to have this in your pocket. Another thing to think about is talking to maybe a nutritionist or talking to somebody at a health food store, but you want to get quality nutrition to be able to have your body have the ability to have the osteoblasts and such to build and support your bone function and bone growth. So you want to look at having high quality calciums, something that absorbs well in your system. You want to have something, magnesium. You want to have vitamins A, C, and D. All those help with bones as well. And C is just good from a standpoint of cold and flu season and such. But a bigger one too is going to be just working the scar tissue. I have a lot of scar tissue in my neck. It's very hard if I pull it up, but I can actually grind on this. And every day I'm doing work on this. I'm actually going to be making a video soon showing you some self-care and how to break up that scar tissue and get more range of motion. But anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. I hope for those who've had the past, have had the hemiglossectomy, or people who are fearful for friends and family who are going to have one or had one, it's going to be okay. It's not fun. It's destructive, but at the same time, it gave me a second chance on life. And if I hadn't had this done, I would have been dead in 2013. And here we are, 2018, 5 years and a couple days later, I'm still around. So thank you very much for watching, and send me your emails as you have been. If you have any questions, I'll try to get back to you as much as I can. But thank you all. I love you, and God bless.